One time? And we don't have to do anything else?
Hello.
Up here.
Hello.
Oh.
Participant?
Okay. No.
No, that's right.
Over here.
Right here's where I want to. What was that? You didn't.
See that?
Switch to gallery view. Okay.
Wilma and Herb, did you get the
Okay.
emails okay this time?
Yes.
Yay!
Oh,
Yay!
good. Great. How about from the Shakespeare Festival?
No.
Oh, you didn't get anything from Shakespeare
From
yet?
the Shakespeare Festival. No, I didn't get
Oh.
that.
Well, I don't know if they've sent anything out, but I set up that
The
filter so
Cincinnati
that,
Shakespeare.
yeah.
We're not on their mailing. I'm on their email list.
Oh,
for some
oh,
reason.
well, that's why I set up that filter for you as well when I was setting up the Governor's
No,
Point
I don't
one.
know. We don't seem to get anything from them. Oh, I know Symphony. You were.
Oh, the Symphony. That's right. Yeah,
No,
that's
no,
what it was.
we still haven't
So
gotten
we're
anything.
not
from
mute. You want to
Yeah.
mute?
No.
But I think that
So
Stacy
we didn't have to
and her and that in between person, I think
only
they
muted
must
you.
have really been the
Mhm.
problem. What do you think,
So you
Stacy?
automatically go live.
I'm not sure. I know, like, all of a sudden you were like, hey, I got it. And I was like, okay, everybody stop. Nobody touch anything.
Whatever, it's working. So
You
Yeah.
should take
great.
No, Stacy tried very hard. I know. So thank you.
Great.
I could
Hello,
hear it.
everyone.
Hello.
Hello. So let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. It's 7:01. And we'll start off with approval of the minutes from April. Have the minutes actually gone out to the community yet? I'm not sure they have. Stacy, have they? Do you know?
We
I
got the
think-
minutes.
You should say that.
You did? Okay, great.
You do? Okay. So,
Yeah. The only change we need is that it didn't have Raylene as in attendance, and she did log in a little bit later. So
Oh,
if you
okay.
could just add her to that. But with that addendum, I move that we approve them.
They waved. Are you all right?
Do you second, Matthew?
oh, a second.
Yep.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye. Okay.
Cool. So the first thing on the agenda this evening are the roof issues.
Yeah.
Under us on the west side. Jim, did you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, last week, I guess it was Thursday or Friday, I think, that Pamela and Emery both contacted me that they are both getting water lines. In fact, I can see it behind Pamela on the ceiling there, I think. Either that or my screen's dirty.
In front of us. It's in front of us.
Oh, I think my screen's just dirty.
Because you're in town.
But they're getting water stains, and it was during that storm where we had a really, really heavy downpour at one point. So in trying to nail down exactly what the conditions are that are causing this, that's kind of one of the factors. It seems like one of the downspouts, the one that's outside Sandra's window, is definitely clogged because as we'll discuss later, the Everdry people pointed out that water's pouring over that gutter down Pamela and Ed's window and then down the side of the building. So we've asked Vertex to have that downspout taken care of. Somebody told me that there was a truck in the parking lot today from gutter guidance or something like that. Was that from Vertex or?
So I know Steve, he has reached out to some vendors to come and take a look.
Mhm.
And so that might be one of them that he reached out to.
Okay, but so that's one of the first things to take a look at. But then he also said that he had a roofer that was supposed to contact Pamela and Ed and Jim and Emery directly and come out to try to resolve the issues there. We're hoping that the area of intrusion is not directly beneath the deck. because that would be a gigantic problem. So
The
we haven't.
new water stain in our bedroom,
Mhm.
it's new, and it's a fine line about the size of a yardstick and about the length of a yardstick.
Mhm.
I've been trying to map it to help assist whoever comes and looks, just so we can direct where the water flow might be.
Uh-huh.
The last time we were here was October 2019, and it wasn't there, so it's there now. I
Mhm.
don't know where that could possibly be coming from. I meant to ask Jim and Emery to see if there's anything in their unit, because it's directly
Mhm.
could possibly be over their bathroom into their bedroom.
Yeah.
So that one is, again, it's under the deck, and I feel real bad. I hope this isn't anything serious.
Yeah. Well,
That one.
it's certainly not your problem, but we'll hopefully get the professionals in to take care of it. And we're sorry that you've been and probably
Well,
will be inconvenienced by it.
the part that's interesting, the one in the living room that's over our front door and directly over our TV, it's
Mhm.
been there for several years. It must have been 3 or 4 years ago. I noticed it, and I started taking photos, and I monitored, and I talked to, I can't even remember who it was. They came here, someone from the board came here, looked at it, and I said, I'll monitor it. So hopefully it doesn't get worse.
Yeah.
Well, it just so happens we arrived and we had that rainstorm, and it drip, drip, drip on the TV. So it's ironic that it started really dripping the day we arrived, the day after we arrived.
Fortunate in many
Fortunate,
ways,
well,
because we're
yeah.
going to be here for
Right,
6 weeks.
right. So that was
Yeah.
interesting. And
Yeah,
then,
that could have gotten a lot worse before discovering it.
landing in our in the
Mhm.
floor. Oh my God, no,
Yeah.
that's just not fun.
And
Anyway,
then in Emery and Jim's place, it's also in a spot that they were having problems with before we had the roof recoated. So the new spot is a perhaps separate issue, but those two spots, the fact that they were an issue, we had the roof recoated, and turns out that there's still an issue, suggests that there might be something else going on. My guess, without any expertise, is that it can't be unrelated to the fact that the gutters are overflowing. Maybe it's flowing back through the seal between the roof and the gutter, and then once it gets into that gap between the roof and the ceiling, is just flowing across that. Or could be a million other things, but we're relying on Vertex to get some good roofers out here to resolve the issues for us.
Has anybody been by to look at it?
I haven't heard. I had contacted Pamela and Emery asking you to let me know if you were contacted by any of the roofers.
we haven't
and I
heard
have not
anything
heard.
yet. So
So
And
can
I
you check
expect
into that,
many
Stacy?
roofing companies are extremely busy after
Right.
last week's rain.
Probably, yeah. And
Oh.
it might be that we have to call a few more vendors to try to get somebody in.
Yeah, Steve is working on trying to, the last one that he was talking to is possibly on Friday.
Mhm.
And Steve will meet them down there, and they'll contact the homeowners for
Great.
going. But yeah, Steve's working on trying. There's some roofers only do asphalt roofing, and then some. So he's trying to find what and get references and stuff.
Yeah, we've had issues before with finding somebody that was willing to work on a flat foam roof. So we know that that's a challenge.
We actually had that issue
Kangaroo
when we
was
had
one
it
that they
resealed.
brought. Yeah. Kangaroofing or something like that. That was the people that they brought in to consult when we had it sealed, though True Element did the actual work of sealing it. So that would be another vendor to maybe bring back in, since it was their guidance that that led to the last project.
Yes, Steve reached out to Kanga, and Joe gave him some reference to some other vendors, because they don't do that type of roofing.
And then same thing with the downspout, because we definitely need to have that resolved before Everdry. I mean, because Everdry is indicating that that's part of the issue with the water that was coming in. So, in order for us to evaluate Everdry's job, we need to eliminate that as a source. So
there is a work order in for that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Cool. All right. Next item on the agenda is a landscaping update. So I'll talk a little bit about that, and then Jim can also talk about it. We've had a lot of comments about the area behind the dumpster. We don't want it to get overgrown again. I've talked to Stan about it. I sent him a picture. Stan with True Element, and he assured me that this week, when his guys are down, they will knock all those weeds out with a weed eater, and we'll keep it clear going forward. And then we've also had a lot of discussion about what to do. Well, I think we're nearing the point where we can actually look at replacing the landscaping outside Sanders windows on the first floor. And we also have talked about what to do in the outdoor pool area where we tore out the bush. Jim, did you have any thoughts, or Raylene?
Just the only update about that is that the health department has come back with nixed the different ideas that we've given them about how we can accommodate their requirement that we have a separate enclosure for the grills. And short of having a permanent fence put in, where what we're going to do to just get the pool open is we'll move them back down to the outdoor car wash. And then once the pool is open, then we'll try to figure out what to do to completely accommodate them. We don't want to spend, $4,000 or $5,000 to have that area paved. But it seems like anything short of that and a permanent fence isn't going to meet their requirements within the pool enclosure. There's still a lot of questions about why is this a new issue with since the grills have been out there since 1982. But, this is not the time for us to get in a fight with the health department. So we'll accommodate them as we can. Yes, Karen?
Instead of paving over that entire area, is it possible just to put pavers out there?
Yeah, that was one of the things we've gotten a couple of bids on. And the pavers, if we were to try to pave a large section of it, would be like $3,800, but we could pave just enough to have the grills. That seems like that's likely to be the best option.
Yeah.
And then, we've got the fence. I've got a section of it out there, but we've got a couple more sections of the wrought iron fence down in the basement that we can try to put up around that. But we're going to try to, we don't want to spend a huge amount of money to do something temporary. So if that's going to cost half of what it would cost for us to do something permanent, then we have to consider whether that's a good use of the funds. But that seems like the most likely. The other thing that I was trying to get them to approve was to put temporary barriers, just freestanding ones, just around part of the area that's already paved. And that was what they came back with. They nixed it because they said children would be able to go underneath it, where the specific guidance that they gave us last year was that they would have accepted bushes with 36-inch gaps between them. Pretty sure children could go through those gaps too. So there's not a real logical consistency to the guidance that they've been giving us.
And we also thought that potentially sod might be a
looks like
solution.
he's here.
Yeah, we might just put down sod in that area and then again put down pavers just in an area to accommodate the grills. But we'll send out an invitation to have another landscaping meeting for that entire area this coming week. To also talk about, additional plants to put in and that sort of thing. So we'll invite anybody that wants to participate in that.
Can I say something about the landscaping?
Mhm.
Mind you, we haven't been here. It's beautiful. It's so different.
Thanks.
It's just lovely. Oh my God, it's such a nice, it's so different. It's just so pretty. I'm so
Wow.
happy with it. Yes, it's so different.
Great. And a lot of that is,
Congratulations. Whoever did all this planning, you did a really nice job. I just have to say that.
Great, thank you. And speaking of which, John planted candida, I think it is, along the back wall. And if anybody, if anyone hasn't heard or if you haven't seen that, John's been ill lately, but fortunately he's back out of the hospital and back home. So hopefully he's doing much better. In fact, I think he was out in the garden today, so he must be feeling better.
Yeah.
I saw him in the plant room a couple days ago, and I was like, there's John.
Yeah, that's great. Then he is feeling better. And
yeah.
In fact, I think he's also got a ton of hydrangea seedlings that he had prepared for the area between the parking lot and the pool. So we were talking about having those hydrangeas put in along there. So.
Cool. Any other thoughts on the landscaping? All right. Next on the agenda is the floor waxing in the basement. So we probably a month or two ago, someone was moving something in the basement and put a scratch on the floor, and then we had the basement people who got it all dusty and everything. So we thought it'd be a great time to have the floor waxed. That's going to happen this Saturday. Mike from Sparkle and Shine is going to do it. The basement hallway will be closed from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. 10 p.m. Saturday night to 6 a.m. Sunday morning. We'll send out an email tomorrow, probably another one on Friday, and we'll put signs on all the doors where you can get into the basement hallway and on the elevators as well, to warn people not to get on there. Mike's been very concerned about footprints on the wax before it's dry. He said it ruins everything. He's like, you basically got to do it all over. So that's just kind of a notice. Next thing is pest control. So we've had a number of notices or people telling us that they've seen cockroaches. I think especially on the first floor. So we've got our exterminator is scheduled to come out this week, I think, to do a full building treatment to treat for those cockroaches and other pests. Larry.
Yeah, Matthew, can we have them go through the common areas, the fire escape areas and so on? I don't think they've ever gone through there when they do their treatment.
Yeah.
That's a
For
great
both,
idea.
all of them, both sides of the building.
Yep. Yep. I mean, they should, because
I've never seen them go through there.
Yeah.
They might not even know that it's there.
I didn't know it was there, Larry, until 2 years ago. So I lived up there 11 years. So
well, please add that to their route.
Yeah. Can you make sure that that's taken care of, Stacy?
Yeah.
Because there's one particular problem it needs to go through. So.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
And
I don't
there's
think a
also
letter's
been
going to solve it.
Yeah. And there has at least been a certified letter that's gone out to one of the unit owners about that.
Good.
And hopefully that'll take care of it, but we're not counting on it. So
we also mentioned the noise in that letter as well. So we had some.
Can I ask a quick question about that? I know that there's no lawyers there's one lawyer in the room. I see a lawyer. If this is not solved by the end of May, let's say, if we call the health department, which was what my original anger caused, that I would like to call the health department, Larry mentioned that might affect other things in the building or our property values. I don't want to do that, but I do want that mess cleaned up again. So if you could ask our attorney or somebody offer us an opinion whether, if it's not done, whether the health department can come in without affecting the rest of us.
I can jump in there because we went through this one. I was on the board, and the solution we had was we gave them a deadline to clean it out, and then it cleaned out by the deadline. because the board can do this, because they can control limited common areas. And we had a deadline, so if you don't clean up at this date, we will have someone come in and clean it out and bill you for it. And that worked.
Okay.
I don't think this is all common area
It's
this
not
time.
the
Yeah.
common area.
It's
As I
not.
It's the fire
understand
It's
escape
the-
area.
It's
The
a
odor,
unit.
the odor
Right.
from the,
Yeah.
from
And
the,
that's exactly it. The board still
And-
controls limited common areas. They
Okay.
can, that's why the balconies had to
So
get
if
fixed.
the odor is in the common area, that counts?
Yeah, that's a limited common area.
No, I mean out in the hallway, not in the courtyard.
What she's saying, Stephen, is that the courtyard is clean.
Oh,
Courtyard's not bad.
Right.
bad.
That's not the
It's
problem
the
this
odor
time.
emanating
Oh, gotcha.
from
Gotcha.
the unit that Raylene and I are both affected by.
right.
So, and
We,
I will
we
say
also
that
got
after,
the mother, I mean, his aunt or something, if she's still alive. She was an influence too, but
Yeah, there was a hazmat team that came in and we witnessed it after we moved in. Truly. And
Yeah.
so sending a letter, Vertex should look up the history on this. It's ridiculous to
Yeah.
send a letter, in my opinion.
well, we have to follow the
Protocol.
steps. And in the intervening time between when Stephen was on the board and when we came on, Vertex did have a role in monitoring the situation over a series of months, doing several walkthroughs. I think Stan was involved with that.
So I think the
and-
walkthroughs need to happen again.
Sure, and we can, we're on that path, so hopefully we don't get to that point. But that would be an end result. So we're starting the
As long as it's being addressed and it's being addressed soon. This has been going on for months, and you keep hoping that it's just this morning, and then now it's this morning, and now it's in my utility closet. And
Stacy,
Is
can
this
you
a-
send us a copy of that letter so that we can just see how it was worded, see if there was a deadline?
oh, I didn't keep any of that.
No, I mean, I was asking
Oh.
Stacy. They've already sent a new letter this week, and we just wanted to get a copy of that so that the board knows exactly how it was worded.
Is this a rental or an owner occupied?
yeah, well,
No, it's
Owner
a,
occupied.
it's a trust situation.
Mhm. Yeah.
Cool. So, the next thing on the agenda is dryer vent cleaning, and that's something that was last done, I think 4 years ago, and we're looking to start thinking about scheduling that soon as well.
And Stacy, if you could just look into that and see, is there a vendor that you guys typically work
Not
with
there.
for that, or
Oh, yeah.
that would be great.
I'll
Is
send
this the internal vents or the outside vents?
Well, it would be both. I mean, it would be to the outside, which, Stacy, that's a good point. They have to have the equipment to be able to reach those outside vents. Some of them are, 4 or 5 floors up. And I'm not sure I think the 5th floor ones might be accessible from the decks, but I know some of the 4th floor ones, they had to use extension ladders to get to, and maybe I don't remember if they had a bucket truck or not.
The last time they did our side of the building, they had a ladder in our courtyard doing 432 and never did mine. So they didn't do the first floor. So they still haven't been done.
So we definitely want to do that pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know there was a bird nest in John's because I watched them feeding their young.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's warm.
yeah, I have some neat
It's-
pictures of it.
The warmth is good right now with as cold as it's been.
Mm-hmm.
If I were a bird, I'd want to be there too. So the next thing on the list, which I'm very happy about, is a foundation update. it seems like the long national nightmare is finally nearing its terminus.
I was going to say, you're happier about it than I am.
Well, for right now, I mean, we have two little things to get cleared up, but the sections that we've been really concerned about in the past are, it's not been leaking in the women's restaurant or women's locker room. In the one that keeps me up at night, the transformer.
Oh, the transformer. Yeah.
Yeah, which is, I'm like, oh, that's not good. That water coming in. Those places have been dry. There's been no water coming up to the floor. The only places left are, I believe it's a place where it's coming down the facade of the building, and coming in through a ledge on the west side. And it pools there, and you can see if you go out there that it's been sealed before, but that wasn't within the scope of what EverDry does.
Well,
They
actually,
sealed
we
the-
did. They were supposed to seal that.
Oh, were they?
That area, yeah. But I think it's. Well, they understand what the problem is right now for that. And then the other two areas are on either side of the stairwell. It's coming in on the west side of the stairwell, we believe, through the gap where the sump pump pipes exit. So that should be real quick to clear up. The other one is that corner where that downspout is, and they're going to dig that back out, reseal that wall, but they said also that as long as that's topping that gutter and pouring down, because it's all of the water that falls on the part of the roof that has the deck is all coming down that one corner. So it's a gigantic amount of water sometimes, and that's overwhelming any other kind of solution that they can put in. But hopefully between that and getting that downspout cleared, I mean, if necessary, temporarily, we could redirect that downspout back out across the top of the ground to the parking lot, which is what it was before we had all this work done, just to resolve that problem. And then we can figure out later if there's a clog underneath the ground. But I think the clog is likely in the vertical portion of the downspout, because when they were doing the deck, that gutter was often completely full of sawdust and wood chips and everything else. So, and I sent Stan a few pictures of that. So it's not a huge surprise that gutter, or that downspout got clogged with the amount of debris that was going down it. Hopefully once that's resolved, and EverDry, they're supposed to be out this week to reseal the sections that are remaining, and we do have 100% guarantee from them, so they're going to keep coming back until it's resolved.
So that's the part that I like, is that it's 100% guarantee.
Yeah, the guy was really apologetic, and we had to just tell him, look, it's a 100-year-old building. We've been fighting with this apparently for 25 years, so it can be an iterative process as long as at the end of it, the water issues are resolved.
Right. So any other thoughts or questions, concerns about that? The next thing on the agenda is the Kennedy Street wall outside the Davis's unit. And the board consulted with Vertex to help us understand what we were able to do. There was a situation where there were mistakes made by me. Vertex, there was a misunderstanding, a miscommunication, but the board did vote to pay for that wall. So it's a $1,200 fix from Kevin Fitzpatrick, and the board voted that we would cover it because it was something that we felt like it was something that we should pay for. So,
well, and their concerns that the tree should be removed before permanent repair to that wall is done is a reasonable concern. And the other reason that the board decided that we would go ahead and cover that is that I think the long-term repair of that wall is likely to be considerably more expensive. And this is a way for us to make a clear dividing line between what the HOA is responsible for and what the unit owners are responsible for, which removal of that tree and repair of that wall is something that the unit owners are responsible for. We kind of preempted their ability to make decisions about it, but there will be work necessary down the road, and the HOA has spent all it's going to spend on it. That will not continue to impact the rest of the homeowners financially.
Right, and we see it as a time buying process. We stop the degradation of the wall temporarily. As long as that tree's there, there's going to be damage that's coming down the road. So that's where we're on that.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, the problem is there are trees that are planted inside the wall. So those tree roots are pushing the wall away, and it's still, the brickwork was repaired, but the stanchion where the wall is attached to the gate is about 15 degrees off plumb already. So it's not going to take a lot of time before that becomes a more urgent repair.
Right. Cool. So any thoughts, questions, concerns on that? Great. The next thing on the agenda is the HVAC update. So I know that we've communicated in the past, there are 3 HVAC units.
Is there any more coolers in there?
Sorry?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, okay. And so 2 on the, correct me if I'm wrong, Jim, 2 on the west side, 1 on the east side?
No, on the second floor, there's 1 on the west and 1 on the center. Those 2 were replaced last week. I believe that job is entirely finished, but we haven't heard from John Lee. In other words, we haven't gotten the final invoice from John Lee on it, I guess. But they appear to be repaired. That appears to be completed. There's still 1 to be replaced in the fitness center, but that's 1 of 2 units in the fitness center. So for right now, we're going to continue along with the 1. And then once the foundation work is done and we know what we're going to have to spend for these roof problems, when we get some breathing room from all that, then we'll have that third 1 replaced.
Right. And cool. Any thoughts on that? Great. So the last thing on the agenda is the stacks cleaning. And that's something that we've put off, but we're prepared to get that scheduled at this point. So hopefully that will be within the next month or so. Did you have any thoughts on that, Jim, as well?
I was just going to say that we should consult with Nate when you schedule it about which bathroom stacks, if we need to have all of the bathroom stacks done, or if on the basis of the survey that we sent out, if we only need to do the ones that have reported slow drains. And, we've got a long working relationship with Nate from Marco, and I really do have a lot of confidence in his opinion on those things. He really knows the building, and he's always been really straight with us. So hopefully with his guidance, we won't have to do all of them, but we'll do all of the kitchen stacks and all of the bathroom stacks that require it.
The bad thing about that survey is that the bathroom stacks and laundry stacks that we were notified are having issues where basically there was no pattern. They were all over, and there was some on the 3rd floor and then a totally different one on the 2nd floor. So we'll have to consult with him as far, and we can show him the survey and
Mhm.
say, hey, here are the ones we want to have done.
Yeah.
I know that individual unit owners like Steve below me
Mhm.
had the bathroom sink stack done within the last year.
Mhm. And if, you know, if we're unsure of it, we'll just go ahead and have them done. Since that's something that's never been on the schedule, it's not something that we would have to do year after year, but a single overflow event could cost more than the entire project. So I think it would be best to err on the side of caution and have everything done that could possibly have a problem.
Yeah, and the quote that we got was not.
You're muted, maybe, Matthew?
Am I?
I hear
You're
it.
not
he's not.
muted, but
No.
we're not hearing you.
Okay.
I was just moving my lips. I wasn't
Still
talking.
not hearing you.
Jim,
No,
we can hear him.
We can hear him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
He's good. He's good.
So, Jim, I think it's just you. No, I'll turn on my mic. Can you hear me now?
Matthew seems to be having technical difficulties.
No.
Oh,
No,
no.
I can
Yeah.
hear
We
him
can
not
hear
fine.
him.
No, we can hear
It
it.
might be you. No, but the quote we got on the stacks, adding the bathroom stacks actually wasn't. It
Oh, sorry,
wasn't.
that was me. There's a hardware thing that I sat on.
But the cost of the bathroom stacks didn't scale up. So if we did all the bathrooms in addition to the kitchen, it didn't double it. It just
Mhm.
increased it by like a third. So
Yeah.
um,
Which
that
surprised me
definitely-
because that seems like a way more gross job. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, Larry.
Well, I don't know whether anybody else has this problem or not, but our sink, probably our kitchen sink, maybe once a week, it gargles, makes all kinds of noises. Nothing ever comes up. It just gargles. And then we just go over and turn water on. We don't know whether that helps or not, but
yeah.
nothing's ever come up, but it just makes this noise about once a
Yeah.
week,
Huh.
Yeah,
Does anybody else have that problem?
I've had it before.
No.
Yeah.
Have you? Okay.
It's,
Winner.
Yeah, that might be a first floor thing.
I don't
but
know.
I don't know. And I really wish one of our kind of fantasies was if we could get a 3D model of the internals of this building so that we actually knew what pipes are attached to what vents are attached to there's a huge amount of guesswork that we do about what's inside the walls. And so I don't know about that gargling. I know
Yeah.
that one of the issues with, I don't know if everybody's noticed that that SD1 comes and they inspect the manholes and that pumping station that's at our levee wall or at our flood wall. I asked one of the guys once, I said, well, what if I saw you running out of there really alarmed, what would be the problem? So he went through the entire process and he said, actually, they are making sure that there are valves in there to prevent backflow into the sewer system. And our building would be the first thing to get hit if there was a backflow.
Yeah.
So that gargling, I don't know, that could represent, if it happens certain times of the year, maybe
Well,
that's.
it's been going on for a while, several months.
Mhm. And never any smell?
But no, and nothing ever comes up. It just makes that noise, So.
And I put that Dawn detergent, Dawn
Mhm.
stuff down every month. So I think
Mhm.
it's just the building. I think it's just an old building. It's not bothering us.
Mhm.
It's just
if
weird.
someone above you is using their dishwasher, that
No,
happens.
because, well, it could be because, like you said, the pipes. Faye's kitchen is back over there, over our guest room.
I don't know.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So,
Mystery.
Yeah.
that's all that's on the agenda for this evening. Did anyone have any? Let's open it for the homeowner forum.
I do. I've got a question, if you don't mind.
Mhm.
Sure.
Got a notice from Office of the City Manager, City of Covington, regarding, and I'll just say,
Sewer.
That was about SD1, about the water.
well, it's SD1 and the MS4 permit in Covington. Do I need to be concerned
Mhm.
with that?
No, that's something that, that's, all of that goes through Vertex, since we're all, the building pays for the water and pays for the sewage. The individual homeowners don't have any
Oh,
interaction
I'm
with
so
that at
glad.
all.
I just, it came to me, I thought, ooh, I want to double check to make sure.
Yeah. And even for Vertex, I mean, I didn't see anything in there that indicated that we had to do anything. It was just that were giving us legal notice that we've shifted from sharing that cost among several townships, I guess, to having it separated into our own sewer district.
Well, it was impressive because it talked about the fee would actually go down. And if you were a homeowner, then you got one fee, but if you were in a duplex, there would be 2 fees. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how about 50 homeowners? So
Yeah, but fortunately, it's still only one.
I just want to make sure there was nothing I needed to do.
Nope.
Okay, good enough.
Cool. Anyone else?
I have
Yeah,
a question. Oh,
Mhm.
Go ahead, Stephen. You first.
I did want to follow up on, because I noticed you attached the 2 attorney opinions, but I also noticed you didn't attach my attorney's opinion of that opinion that said it was internally inconsistent, quote, and makes no common sense. And so I am kind of curious, since my attorney used to be the HOA attorney for like 20 years. It was very consistent. And now we've got a new attorney who has a different opinion. I am wondering, is the board interested in resolving that conflict?
Jim, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, and that's a yes or no.
As we're standing right now, if you want to resubmit the application, then we can go another round with between your advocate and the HOA's attorney, but you would have to submit a new application so that it's a pending matter, because the matter's already been voted on.
I disagree, because I just want to know, it makes no sense to submit another request if the board has already decided that DBL is correct. Because then you'll give me the same thing of, no, we can't rule on this because our lawyer says no. So
that is what it stands as right now. Our counsel told us that we don't have the right to give you what you want, and so we voted as a board, and that matter is no longer pending. If you'd like to revisit that decision, then you can raise it again.
I did ask the board to send Amy Ferguson's letter to DBL. Did that happen?
After we voted. We haven't sent that since then, because we don't have the right to spend the homeowner's money on a legal opinion for a matter that's no longer pending before the board.
So you're saying, Pat, I need to ask again.
That's correct.
Which we'll do. Okay. But I don't know how it's going to be different.
Well, if your advocate's argument is convincing to the HOA council, then they might change their guidance to us. I don't know.
When you say HOA council, who are you talking about? Because you already have the letter. Is it convincing?
Not to me.
Okay.
So, and
no, not to me either.
All right.
And we don't have the ability to spend HOA funds on a matter that's already been decided, even if there's more additional information that comes out, it has to go through the process again.
Okay, I get it. So we're just going to have to go to court then.
Sounds like fun.
I know. Well, you got to push for your rights. I have to push.
Alrighty. Anyone else have anything?
Yes,
have a
I
quick
do.
Question, if I may, this has nothing to do with the legal. If a unit owner wanted to have their air conditioner reviewed, do I go through John Lee? Is that who we would recommend? I want to follow whatever the rules might be here, because I have a feeling our air conditioner is probably the age of the other ones. And if they're up there, can I contact them? Or what would be a quick, I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. I don't want to waste anyone's time. I'm just curious the steps. So I do this right.
Yes. So John Lee is the preferred vendor.
Okay.
There are other that you're definitely welcome to use any air conditioner company in the greater Cincinnati area. There are other ones that have pretty good knowledge of the building. Not every unit owner has used John Lee,
Okay.
but we've been very satisfied with the work that they've done, and they have a really good understanding of this building. So, and then if you need any assistance, let Jim or I know.
Okay.
Especially Jim, because he can open the door. He's got the magic touch to open the door that's got the code on it
Okay.
for them.
All right. Thank you. We could take it offline, but I am curious in using John Lee. If everyone is happy with them, I would just stay with who you're using.
We're good with them.
Yeah,
We're
we
good.
go
You're
with
good
them.
with them? Okay.
Yeah.
I would
We
just
are.
like to have them look
I
at
use
ours
them.
and if
They're great.
okay,
they're
then
great.
I would just have them evaluate ours again, while we're here
Mhm.
trying to spend our time here doing repairs and maintenance.
Mhm.
We're having fun, no.
I have a
Welcome home.
question.
I know, right. It's either here or in California that we're doing
Yes.
constant house repairs.
Yeah, we're
Anyway.
avoiding it in California right now
With the
by
heat
being
and
here.
the fire there, so anyway.
I have a question. There used to be a
Mhm.
wall clock in the exercise room, fitness center, whatever. There is no longer a wall clock. I think the area would benefit from a wall clock, especially if we sometime in the near future, begin having these meetings and others
Mhm.
in that space.
Yeah, sure. In fact, I think the wall clock down in the lanai room is broken too. It doesn't seem to be keeping time, so we can get a pair. Well, actually, we can get 3 of them because we also need to replace the one out at the outdoor pool. So we'll get that taken care of.
Yes. And we will
We're happy
we
to
will
donate them.
underwrite the cost of
to-
those 3 clocks,
Yes.
provided they don't come from Big Ben Clock Company.
Yes.
No,
Also,
I think we can take care of that. But
Yeah.
but in terms of donations, we were also once the pandemic is over and we are able to freely associate, we should have an HOA party, and that would be a great thing for people to donate to. In fact, Matthew and I have been saving up. A few homeowners have given us gift certificates for work that we've done for them, and we've said that each of those will apply to when we can have a celebration of reopening the HOA to post-pandemic socialization.
Can you do it before
Yeah,
June
June
11th?
Yeah,
Um,
Memorial Day weekend, Kentucky
Not to be
opens.
picky or anything, but
Oh, I didn't know that. If that's the case, then yeah, I think Memorial Day
Governor
weekend sounds
said
like a great.
Memorial-
yeah, that's a great
yeah,
idea.
Yeah.
Memorial
Hey,
Day weekend.
yep. Memorial Day is my birthday, so that sounds great.
Oh,
All the more
Yes,
reason.
all the more
Yep.
reason.
We'll be back in
also,
October, but
Yeah.
that doesn't
Mhm.
mean, we need to have this roof thing fixed before then. That's
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
in addition to the clocks, this also is clock related. The timer on the pool lights
Mhm.
is not. It will turn on, but it won't turn on. Like it won't automatically turn off. So the electrician is going to be out here this week, tomorrow or Friday, to look at that about maybe installing a new timer so it'll actually turn off.
I have another question. How about keyless entry?
Oh,
Uh,
please.
It's one of those things that we're kind of sitting on because of all of the other reserve expenses that we've had, and then looking at again this roof issue.
Yeah.
You know, I have no way to predict how much we're going to be spending on that, and we don't want to dip too
No.
far in the reserve. We're going to do it as soon as we can, but we're definitely going to have to build up a little bit
And-
before
and
we
it's
can. I think the earliest we would be able to would
Not
be
a
in the
high
fall.
priority, and I don't want to lose sight of it.
Oh, no.
No,
We actually
certainly
have
not.
a really good bid from Mr. Locke. I did the walkthrough with Steve from Vertex and the guy from Mr. Locke, and he was really excited and animated about it. And he had a lot of great ideas. Hopefully, it's something we can do within the year.
Yeah, and it's shockingly affordable. I mean, it's actually, it's really much. It's a fraction of what I thought it would cost. Do you remember what the actual bid was for the part without moving doors, Matthew?
Like, it was for everything involved with the new security cameras on the front. I think it was 11,600, something like that.
That included the security
I think
cameras.
so. Yeah, and then it included like running the internet from the basement up into the office, and so it would include a lot of other really impactful changes with it that wouldn't be that expensive. So
yeah, and to put that in perspective, just rekeying the existing brass locks and distributing the appropriate number of keys to everybody would cost about $4,500. So it was shocking to me that it's only about double what it would cost to rekey the building.
yeah. Gail, did you have something?
No, I was just going to tell Pamela that we used John Lee and took their maintenance program where it's twice a year. They come in, check it out. And
Great.
they really work well and easy to work with. And, we thought we might have an issue with our air conditioner, and not a bit. He said, no, it's fine.
Is there a specific contact name, or just call them?
Yeah, just call him directly. Frank Bockerman is the one that we deal with as the HOA, but I think he's mostly on the commercial side. And one other advantage that John Lee has over everybody is if you end up having to have your unit replaced, they have a built-in advantage. Everybody else needs to rent a special lift in order to get the units up there. They've got a system that might not be entirely safe, but they've been doing it for years, where they bring the unit in and they bring it up a set of ladders.
Is that it?
With a pulley,
Yeah.
That old, throw
Yeah,
that
I
pulley
mean,
over there and just pull it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Pamela,
Yes.
if you've got a pencil, I've got the number right here.
I've got it right here.
It's
I'm ready.
513
Yep.
662 2282.
Thank you. I'm on it.
We just had them here Monday doing a preventative maintenance check. So
Yeah, they are a little backed up though, because I called them today for my maintenance, and the earliest appointment I could get was June 15th.
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
but they said that they would, try to get here earlier if they have cancellations. But
Well,
yeah,
We just had
and
them
maybe
too.
we can jump ahead of you if we're willing to buy one. So
Yeah,
I'm sure you will.
yeah, or maybe they can combine visits.
yes, they'll spend 5 minutes with you
Yeah,
and whatever
well,
they need with us. So we
And
got
also
it.
mention that we just spent $17,000 with them
Right,
as a homeowners
exactly.
association.
Right.
So
And it probably will be Frank, because he was my salesman.
yeah,
when I had
he's
my
the one
own
that
place
really
about
knows the building, and I
6
think
years.
he's got a son that works for them now too. So
Excellent. Thank you.
Yes. Cool. So
Yeah.
does anyone
One more.
else have anything?
Stephen?
I do have one more thing. This is related to the dumpster. I was chatting with Mark Holt, who owns the Daniel Beard House behind the pool, the Boy Scout home. And he is going to be, sometime in the future, he is going to put his house on the market. But that also impacts the location of our dumpster, because in order to get everything ready for selling the property. He doesn't want any issues with the property line.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, our dumpster is sitting on his property.
Well, we've already measured it to see whether or not we can move it entirely onto our property and still have the truck be able to line up on it.
Right.
And the only thing that we would have to change is we would have to make the last parking space along the flood wall into a no parking space so that the truck would get the correct angle, but it would be no problem to move it. However, we would need to know exactly where the property line is. So I'm really looking forward to him having it surveyed so that we can get that marked and deal with that. But that's no problem. I've already measured it. There's 78 inches of clearance, even keeping 2 feet of space to walk through. And the dumpster is 72 inches wide. So that's no problem. In fact, even the enclosure can fit.
And we do pay to have the grass maintained on his part of the lawn back there. So
there's actually a written agreement that Matthew and I ran across when we were going through all the old minutes. But I don't see any reason that we have to that we would have any problem with moving that. The bigger issue might be, John has a lot of plantings on that property, but he understands that it's not our property. So I think he would be, I don't think he would have hard feelings over it.
Okay. I just want to make sure that it was on the board's radar.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the casual conversation Mark and I had.
Yeah. Did he say anything about when he's going to have his sewer line repaired?
No.
Because the fact that he has raw sewage running down that hill is a little bit more urgent of an issue. So there have been people working in his yard, and I was hoping that was what they were working on, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. He's getting his house ready to put on the market.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess we'll have to talk to SD1 again about whether or not that repair is being made to their satisfaction, because it is getting pretty stinky. So.
Stinky everywhere. Not good.
No.
And Matthew's dog runs back to it every time he goes back there.
Yeah, he does. He did today. So,
if no one else has a question, the small cupboard that is on the floor between the elevators,
mm-hmm.
That seems to accumulate miscellaneous things. In the past, we had a day or a time when sometimes people seem to use it as an overflow storage, which it is not. It's should be clean except for those. I think almost every floor has a ladder in there, a small ladder that is kind of used by everyone on the floor. But I noticed that ours on the 4th floor does have a lot of miscellaneous things in it. And I was thinking that maybe it's time to announce that there would be a cleanup in those. I'm not sure what the 2nd and 3rd floor look like.
That's a good idea.
I cleaned that back in October of 2019. It was really cluttered and plants and leaves and I was just in that closet. I was shocked at how cluttered it is, and I was ready to go clean it again. But wow. I don't know who the things belong to, but
that's the reason
cluttered,
I think.
right.
Yeah, that's the reason I think the board needs to announce that that those are not public, open for storage on your private things.
Mm-hmm.
And that set a limit, a date as to when they would be emptied out, and then if they're still there, they can be emptied.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
I agree. And we did that with the basement, and we've had no feedback about anything that was removed from common areas in the basement. So we can definitely put that on the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Anyone else have anything?
Is Martha Borcherding still in residence?
Yes.
Martha's here.
Martha is. Jack's gone.
Yeah. Jack is at a full-time care facility, but Martha is still living here.
Alrighty. The silence suggests there's no other issues. Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank
Aye.
you. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Had nice attendance.